Number one, you mentioned how no one has seen the details of this, right? Um, One country in particular hadn't seen it, and they have seemed to been able to sabotage these efforts throughout the months that this is going on. That's Israel. As a matter of
Mhm.
fact, ABC News right there broke that, hey, Israel wants to see this, and we're not letting them. This is the same country that has single-handedly had its own independent bombing campaign, to which Iran explicitly told them to cease and desist if you want peace. How are we supposed to interpret this, Andrew?
It's certainly a remarkable turn of events, and I know it's been a major surprise and a rude awakening, not only for the Israeli government but for the Israeli public, who view President Trump very favorably. Trump is
Mhm.
certainly more popular in Israel than he is in the United States, but they're discovering the reality of who he is, which is someone who's only out for himself, and his commitment to any group of people or any country is only as good as the profit equation at any point in time. So as soon as things turn in the other direction, he's willing to abandon you. But Israel is going to get a vote. Even if they're not
Right.
going to be asked to sign this agreement, which by all accounts they're not. They do have the ability to upset it. They can take strikes unilaterally against Iran. There would come with some costs and some risks, because Israel still requires U.S. assistance with defending against Iranian ballistic missiles and drone
Mhm.
strikes. Israel does have a formidable capacity, but it is a small country, and having the U.S. Navy and the other U.S. armed forces there is an insurance policy. Uh, but Israel most certainly can respond in Lebanon, which
Mhm.
we have been told is one of the conditions for this agreement, that there is going to be a cessation of violence within Lebanon.
Mhm.
Apparently, the agreement, and again, this is just what we've been told, and who knows if
Right.
it's accurate or
Right.
not. Israel
Right.
doesn't have to withdraw from Lebanon immediately, but they're supposed to suspend the talks, or suspend their strikes on Lebanon, and that isn't happening. We've already seen that there have been exchanges between Israel and Hezbollah. Maybe that stays within an acceptable range, but from
Mhm.
the Israeli perspective, if Hezbollah begins firing missiles on northern Israel, on communities there, and people are running to their bomb shelters, ultimately, particularly in an election year for Netanyahu, he's not going to sit in his hands and just say, I can't do anything. And
Right.
Iran will be faced with the situation where they'll have to decide, the terms of the agreement are being violated. Do we respond in kind? And unfortunately, the way in which this war has been fought and the way in which it has concluded, Iran holds the trump card, to use a pun, in that they still have the ability to close the Strait of Hormuz. And while
Right.
that hurts them, it hurts the global economy immensely. Uh, and that is the major difference from the US experience with Iran during the Obama administration, where Iran's biggest threat was the nuclear file, which was a major
Mhm.
threat, but it was one that Iran was reluctant to use, because obviously that's not something you could calibrate.
Right.
Very different with being able to shut down a strategic choke point in the international economy. That is something that is obviously short of nuclear escalation, where you can play around. So Iran has more ability, more options to respond to what they perceive as a lack of compliance on the US or Israel side than they did previously, which puts them in a stronger position, despite the US outperforming Iran militarily,
Mhm.
politically, diplomatically. It's
Mhm.
been utterly ruinous. And we have allowed Iran to essentially do a jujitsu and reverse the power equation.